All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Summer Immersion Program's Fireside Chats, featuring our academic leaders leading all of our different institutes. I am Betsy Schneider. I'm Program Director of the Wake Forest Summer Immersion Program. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing our academic leader for our brand new Coding and Computer Science Institute. So we have Professor Sarah Parsons here, who will be leading the Coding and Computer Science Institute. Professor Parsons, thank you for joining us today. Why don't you kick things off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to lead the Coding and Computer Science Institute?
Sure. Thank you for having me. So I am a double deek, and I studied computer science in undergrad as well as in graduate school at Wake Forest University. It's such a wonderful place. And I'm really excited to be leading the Coding and CS Institute because of my passion for computer science and programming and technology. And also I love to teach. So I'm really excited to be working with these students.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, Professor Parsons' energy is absolutely contagious. So I can only imagine what it will be like in her classroom. She teaches computer science courses at Wake Forest. And for those of you who don't know what a double deek is, that just means Professor Parsons got her undergraduate degree at Wake Forest. She also got a graduate degree at Wake Forest. So that's double deek before the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. So just a little info there. So I want to hear a little bit more about the Coding and Computer Science Institute. This is a brand new institute. We've never offered it before. So let's talk about the program and what students can expect in a typical day during the Coding and Computer Science Institute.
Absolutely. So in a typical day, we will have workshops to learn about a broad range of computer science topics, especially real-world applications where we'll practice problem solving during those workshops. And we'll also take field trips, one of those being to our high-performance computing data center on campus. We'll have guest presenters, which will range from Wake Forest faculty, Wake Forest students, as well as industry experts who some of them may even be alumni from Wake Forest. And students will even get an opportunity to work on their own project and have a really cool product at the end of the week that they can showcase to the rest of the institute and their friends and family.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that really stands out as we've started building the Coding and Computer Science Institute is just how hands-on it is. So I'm super excited for students because Professor Parsons has built in a daily warm-up challenge for them to really get your feet wet, so to speak, in the world of computer science and programming and really solve applied problems each day. So that's really awesome. So you mentioned our field trip that we are planning on taking. Can you talk us through some of the more exciting or hands-on experiences that students will get to participate in during this week?
Absolutely, yes. So several of the projects or several of the workshops will focus on games. So we'll be talking about how can we build our own games, how can we program games that are somewhat challenging, but then how can we optimize our code to ensure that we're building these games in the most efficient and fun way. We'll also have a few labs where we go to the Wakerspace, which is Wake Forest's own maker space where you can build crafts and do really cool projects. And we plan to go to the Wakerspace and have a few different labs working with Raspberry Pis, which are kind of like miniature computers, and also maybe even a lab with Roomba robots. So a lot of our programming, again, will involve solving challenges and working on real world applications with some cool devices and tools.
Awesome. Okay, so that was a lot of hands-on, and you did mention coding. So I
Mhm.
know, this institute is called the Coding and Computer Science Institute. Can you kind of talk us through if a student needs experience in coding in order to do this institute, and kind of what will the coding experience look like during this institute?
Yes, great question. So first off, no prior experience is needed for this institute. So if students have not programmed before, that is not an issue at all. That's even more exciting, I think, because then they get to experience it maybe for the first time. And because of that, so the plan for like the agenda for the week is to start off with kind of the foundations of programming. And we're going to talk specifically about two languages, Python and Java. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the other languages that are within those categories of compiled and interpreted languages. But we'll start off with the foundation of programming, and then we'll work our way up so that we can apply the code to real world problems. So definitely no experience is needed.
Okay, that's really good to know because I know a lot of high school students are just interested in kind of learning the basics of coding and just kind of understanding what it is. You've mentioned the team-based project that students get to participate in and present by the end of the week. So can you talk us a little bit more about your vision for that project and how the students will work in teams?
Sure. Yes. So the plan is that on the first day, we'll focus on the foundations of programming to prepare students and also inspire them and give them ideas of maybe some projects or problems that they would like to solve. And then on that first day, I'm hoping students will find an idea and also meet a lot of their cohort, so the other students in the institute, and be able to decide who they might want to partner with for their week-long project. And so every day they'll get an opportunity to continue working on the project and building out, again, whatever it is that they choose. It could be a game, it could be an application that they want to build, it could be a visualization maybe they want to work on analyzing a data set. So there are so many options that they could have. And they'll also get that chance to collaborate with others, which is so important in computer science and in this field. And by the end of the week, as Betsy said, students will get a chance to showcase their work. And I can't wait to see what they do.
Me too. I'm so excited to see what our students will be able to build throughout the course of the week. And I just wanted to note, Professor Parsons mentioned the cohort of students. And so for the Coding and Computer Science Institute, we will have 25 students per week. So that is the size of the number, the number of students that will be in the classroom each week. I also wanted to mention, if, some of you don't know, the summer immersion program is not for credit. So all of these challenges and the different assignments and projects that you will be working on, there's no grades that are affiliated with this. It's all for just kind of exercising curiosity, solving problems, and discovering, what it is that you really enjoy doing. So there's no pressure, although students will walk away with a certificate of completion that Professor Parsons will award them at the end of the week on Friday. So just in case students and families didn't yet know that, all summer immersion program institutes are not for credit. They're just a week long. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit more about coding and computer science versus Technology Institute versus the Artificial Intelligence Institute. We have these three institutes that feel like they are very much technology themed or based. So can you talk a little bit how coding and computer science will be different from those other two institutes?
Yes. So coding and computer science is going to focus on more of the technical details of programming and also computer science topics. It is going to cover a broad range of the computer science topics, but I would say we are going to focus on how to develop software and how to write code, right, and build optimized, efficient programs. And so there will be a lot of problem solving involved, a lot of syntax that we're going to talk about. So really getting into the technical specifications of building software.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think to kind of drill it down, the Coding and Computer Science Institute will be the most, I would say, technical out of those three. The Technology Institute will very much delve into how the theme is technology from the inside out. So learning about how technology kind of infiltrates all types of career pathways and seeing behind the scenes in different career pathways and fields how technology is kind of changing the landscape. And artificial intelligence is very much kind of learning how AI is changing society, the ethics behind it, the history behind it, and just kind of where it's going. And so kind of just developing awareness of how AI, how being literate in AI is going to be helpful moving forward in our world. So that was helpful. Coding and computer science is definitely the most technical, building and solving problems and kind of doing the code, learning the languages. So that's helpful. Okay. Next, I want to kind of talk through more of the logistics of this institute. So where on campus will this institute take place so that our students can kind of visualize where they'll be this summer?
Yes, so we will spend most of our time in the computer science academic building on campus, which is Manchester Hall. And we also will take, as I mentioned, a few field trips to our HPC, High Performance Computing Data Center, as well as to the Waker Space, which I also mentioned earlier is our Wake Forest's very own maker space. And that's where we'll get to play with some cool technology. And in addition to that, I might be jumping ahead just slightly. I also want to mention what it might be good for you to bring to the Institute. And that is really just a laptop, Mac or Windows or any model will work. But we want to make sure that you have a laptop as opposed to a tablet so that we can install the software that we'll use to write our code.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who may not have access to a laptop, or if your laptop is given to you by your school and you have to turn it in at the end of the school year, we do offer loaner laptops for rent. So, if you're interested in this institute and you don't have a laptop, we can give you a loaner laptop for the week. So no worries there. Okay, so now let's talk about how the Coding and Computer Science Institute kind of relates to a student's future, whether it be in college or past college. Kind of talk us through what your vision is for how students might kind of prepare for their next chapters.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what we'll be talking about during the Institute is actually what a student at Wake Forest in a computer science class would experience. And I'm really excited to bring a lot of what I have in my classes, a lot of the projects and the topics to this institute. And so students will already get real world hands-on experience with college curricula. And in addition, I'm hoping that through this institute, students will learn about different languages, about different topics that they might be interested in and that they might want to pursue later on as a career. And so I'm really excited to share more about my own experiences in the industry prior to teaching, as well as they'll get to interact with students who are currently at Wake Forest in our computer science department. And so they can ask questions of those students and find out more about what it's like to be a student. And a lot of our students have already had internship experience, and some of them are even starting to apply for jobs after they graduate. And so there's so many resources that they'll get access to throughout the Institute.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So it's kind of like a preview. It's like a Wake Forest computer science preview. So, and also it's helpful to know, like, whether you attend Wake Forest in the future or not, whatever institution you end up at, it's a nice little preview of what computer science is, because I know it's not offered at many high schools. Professor Parsons also mentioned interaction with undergraduates. So for every one of our summer immersion program institutes, for each of them, we will hire 2 teaching assistants who are Wake Forest undergrads. So whether it's coding and computer science or something else, your teaching assistants are typically majoring in the field that most aligns with that. So hopefully for coding and computer science, you will be able to be mentored by your teaching assistants who are computer science majors at Wake Forest.
Hmm.
Okay, we've already talked a little bit about this in terms of who the students will interact with this week, but can you kind of dive a little bit more into the different individuals that students will be able to engage with?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a great lineup of guest speakers planned, and these will include Wake Forest very own faculty, as well as a few alumni. That will also have industry experts, so panels of industry experts to talk about their own real world experiences in the industry using a lot of the topics that we'll cover. And of course, students, like we mentioned. So again, they'll get access to so many people at Wake Forest, which is really cool, but also people in the field. And students will get a chance to ask questions and learn so much more about their experiences, and hopefully will inspire them.
Yes, that is the goal. And I just wanted to also mention, we do share contact information of guest presenters with students. So if there's a certain individual who really inspires you, we do offer the opportunity to send a follow-up thank you email. We also send handwritten thank you notes to all of the individuals that we engage with. So it's a really great way to kind of start to forge those professional networking competencies and skills, and also just kind of start to think about, future shadowing opportunities, future internships, just ways to start to make those professional connections. And also, if that's too much pressure, you don't have to start thinking about those things right now. It's kind of take what you will. Okay, so now I want to get into learning a little bit more about you, Professor Parsons, because you're a brand new academic leader, but we just want to get to know you a little bit better. So, can you share a fun fact about yourself that would totally surprise the high school students that you'll engage with this summer?
Yes. Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind is actually something that I do at Wake Forest, and I do this every year. And this is, I serve as the team captain for our computer science department's Hit the Bricks team. And to clarify, Hit the Bricks is a fundraising event for the Brian Piccolo Cancer Research Foundation, and it happens every year. And as part of the event, we compete against other teams on campus, and these teams can be departments, they can be student clubs, and organizations, but we compete by running laps around the quad on campus all day long. So as captain, I am responsible for recruiting members of the computer science department, students, faculty, staff, to run and walk. So either one, but we run around the quad all day. And it's my favorite day of the year because I love to run. And this year specifically, we came in third place in fundraising. And I'm so, so proud of our team. We had the biggest team yet of any years in the past. And we also, throughout the day, we never had a time where someone was not running or walking around the quad because we have to take turns. And so I also am responsible for scheduling our team so that there's always someone out there running during the day. A lot of times it's me because I love to run, but it's really fun to inspire students and faculty to come out, and participate and get some exercise while also raising money for a really good cause.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. And I already mentioned this, but we can only imagine what a good team captain you are because of your contagious energy and just joy. So, Hit the Bricks is a Wake Forest kind of time-honored tradition. Wake Forest motto is Pro Humanitate. So there are a few really cool philanthropic events throughout the school year that students, faculty, staff all engage in. So it's really cool that the computer science department came in third this year in terms of raising money and keeping those laps up. So I told Professor Parsons I may want to join the computer science Hit the Bricks team next year. So we'll see. Okay, so then this is another little segue into learning more about you, Professor questions. So for these fireside chats, we like to do these rapid fire questions. So I'll name a category and then you just respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. So what is your favorite book?
Okay. So this is a book from my childhood that I read called The Giver by Lois Lowry. A wonderful book, timeless. I would highly recommend.
Yes, I love The Giver as well. Such a good one. Favorite movie or TV show?
Yes, my favorite movie is actually a Christmas movie. It's called It's a Wonderful Life. It's a very long movie, but I watch it every Christmas Eve because it comes on, and I can't wait to watch it very soon.
I know that's my favorite Christmas movie too. It is so good. It always just makes your heart so full. Okay. What are you currently listening to? Music or podcast?
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is this might be a hot take or a little bit debatable, but I'm actually listening to Christmas music right now, even though it's November, because I love Christmas. I love Christmas music. But I'm also listening to a lot of jazz music. I've gotten into that genre recently. So I can't wait to hear actually from students as well what their interests are, and maybe we can find some shared music that I can recommend and they can recommend too.
Yes. I love that you're listening to Christmas music. I'm ready to decorate. Um, what is your favorite food?
Yes, so this is a family tradition. We have a secret family recipe, but my favorite food is baked beans. Because we have some secret ingredients that I cannot share on camera, but for anyone who's interested, I would be happy to share the recipe.
I may be asking you for that off camera. So that is not, I was not expecting you to say baked beans.
No.
All other academic leaders, I think, have said pizza. So baked beans is a very unique answer. Um, do you have any pets?
So unfortunately, I don't have any of my own, but my family has two dogs named Barney and Bandit. And they're very cute dogs. Yeah.
Favorite hobby?
So probably running, but I also love to play golf. But I don't get to do that as often because it takes quite a bit of time.
Mhm. Do you play on Wake's golf course ever?
So I haven't had an opportunity to, but I'm trying to get in and hopefully we'll get a chance to in the future.
That's cool. Um, and last rapid fire question. Your favorite place you've ever traveled?
Oh, yes, probably the Grand Canyon. I took a trip there with a friend of mine, and it was a wonderful experience. I love going to state parks and hiking and being outdoors, and so going there was just incredible. It's such an amazing place. Yeah, it was so fun. I would like to go back actually.
I agree. Definitely just vast. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to talk about the Coding and Computer Science Institute again.
Okay.
You had to describe it in just 3 words. What
Mhm.
would they
Okay, first word that comes to mind is fun. I think everything we do is going to be really, really fun and cool, and hopefully something new that students haven't seen before. The second word I would say is hands-on, because there's going to be a lot of problem solving challenges where students get to dive in and really apply themselves, right? And then the second word is, or excuse me, the third word I would say is stimulating, again, because there will be a lot of opportunities to apply themselves and think critically and challenge themselves. So hopefully students are up for the challenge. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Um, okay, finish this sentence. You should experience the Coding and Computer Science Institute if you're someone who blank.
If you're someone who loves challenges. So I think students will have a wonderful time really challenging themselves and solving a lot of real world problems, because that's the goal, right? To apply a lot of the skills and the tools that we learn and that we work with to real world challenges.
Awesome. And what qualities make a student a great fit for this institute?
Yeah, I think students who are open to learning new things, as well as determined, resilient, because a lot of the challenges that we face, I expect students may not get it on the first try, right? But that's what we want. We want to have to really think through these challenges, and show how determined we are, and because once we solve it, then the feeling is wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, we're almost to the end of our fireside chat, but what is your favorite thing about working with high school students, would you say?
Ooh, yes. I love working with high school students so that I can share my passion for programming, my passion for computer science, and just my love for teaching. I love to inspire others, and hopefully they will see the beauty in programming, um, as well as learn to challenge themselves, because again, that's what makes it so fun and so satisfying. Um,
Great. Okay, our last question, why Wake?
Ooh, Wake is a very special place to me. As a double deek, as Betsy described earlier, I have been at Wake Forest for quite a while as a student, in undergrad and grad school, and now as a faculty. And it's wonderful on all sides. Just the students are great. The faculty really care. The connections and relationships that are formed between students and faculty and staff is incredible. It's just a great place to be, very supportive, and there's so many opportunities to learn and explore your interests. And so I'm very grateful and excited to be here.
Yeah, you have a lot of experience at Wake, and it's pretty cool that now you're kind of giving back and kind of creating that communal relational feeling that you experienced as a student, and now you're able to pass that on to your students as a faculty member. So thank you, Professor Parsons, for chatting with us today. This has been very, very helpful for our students who are interested in applying to the Coding and Computer Science Institute, and we hope to see you all this summer. Thanks, everyone. Bye.